The latest Lords of the Fallen trailer has me putting this game in a new category. I believe we could be looking at a Game of the Year contender. Right now, everybody assumes that The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has Game of the Year pretty much locked up. This year's Elden Ring may end up looking an awful lot like Zelda, but it could look an awful lot like Elden Ring, given how good this game is looking and how much it's shaping up. There's been numerous comparisons to Elden Ring for Lords of the Fallen, even a discussion about difficulty that I think are worth mentioning. I'm going to put all of the good information right here at the beginning of the stream so you don't have to go looking for it. It's a longer video because it's a live stream, so make sure you hit subscribe and the bell button. That way you don't miss these live shows. The Lords of the Fallen just dropped an official gameplay reveal trailer, and it is already turning heads. After just a few watches of the trailer, I couldn't help but see a Game of the Year contender for 2023. Many feel that The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is this year's Elden Ring, and for now, that seems to be true. But this year's Elden Ring could be a game that is already extensively being compared to it, and even the developers of Lords of the Fallen welcome those comparisons. I want to first discuss the trailer if you haven't seen it. There are some things that I notice in it that I want to discuss and just outline some of the things that are good and some of the things that are pretty bad in this trailer. Second, I want to run through the Elden Ring comparisons because it makes sense that this game's being compared to Elden Ring, but there are some eerie similarities. Third, I do want to discuss their approach to difficulty, as well as the discussion about difficulty and accessibility. And lastly, does this game have a chance to steal a spot on the Game of the Year podium? If you like these kind of videos, make sure you hit subscribe and the bell button. So obviously, whenever you're discussing a Game of the Year and the potential winners, it is a challenge, okay? A lot of these games are not out yet, but just from history of Game of the Year and the Game Awards, as well as just trailers alone, I think it's fair to say that games pull ahead in the front of the pack. Just from the trailers, just from the gameplay, you can kind of tell which games are going to stand apart that year. For now, after playing it and looking at the critical response, I do think even the commercial success is putting The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom locked in first position. But don't count out titles like Lords of the Fallen, and certainly don't expect all the Game Awards categories to be safe either. The RPG category just got a little bit tougher to win. So let's consider the trailer and everything that we've seen in it. The first thing I noticed in the trailer was the tone, the way that they sort of set it with this large-scale scene, and the voice acting I thought was quite good, as well as the writing. Epic fantasy and dark medieval stories like this tend to have pretty good writing, and then the scope and the style and the quality of the opening cinematic, it honestly reminded me of Blizzard game cinematics, which is high praise. Very similar to how Diablo 4 has done some of their cinematics and what we've seen so far. The voice acting continues to be good, and I think the sound design is on point in this trailer, and we even get a quick look at some of the gameplay early on. Up to now, I actually think in the trailer, when you just see those first couple shots of gameplay, the music is good. It sounds like a big choir. It has that sort of gothic feel to it. But then, there's a song about walking down a dark road, and it feels very out of place. And that's just the beginning of when the music gets kind of bad. It's unfortunate because I watched this trailer the first few times without any sound because I was on the phone, and I was blown away by the gameplay. But the music genuinely hurts this trailer as well as the gameplay that they're showcasing. The environments are breathtaking, the graphical fidelity is crisp, and it's obviously a next-gen only title. Combat looks fluid, fast, and tight, very bombastic. And then the music actually gets worse. A shredding 80s style metal guitar comes in and ruins the moment. I saw so many comments about the music before I even watched it with sound, and now I know why. Character design actually continues to look really impressive all throughout the trailer. There's the woman in red who sort of falls back with the big wings. When they zoom in on her face, it actually looks very impressive. But then we get an 80s ballad style of singing that comes in as well. I honestly cannot believe that this music gets worse as time goes on. You don't think it gets worse, or it could get worse, and it does. The enemies, the monsters, the bosses, they're incredibly designed. They have this nightmarish look to them. We even get a good look at some of the tight attacks and the dodges. There's a very crunchiness, I would say, to the sound effects. When the trailer came to a close, I couldn't help but honestly be irritated after I listened to the music and watched it, with the sound on. Whoever chose the music, literally, this is not hyperbole, this is not exaggeration, they ruined an amazing 10 out of 10 trailer with the music. I urge you to watch this with the sound off a few times. The animation, the setting, the movement, and the enemies are all top shelf. Now, let's talk about the obvious Elden Ring elephant in the room. The Elden Ring comparisons have been pretty much nonstop. I've lost count how many headlines and articles I've seen comparing the games. And listen, I get it. They're similar. They're in the same genre, and it certainly invites comparison when somebody steps into the Souls-like arena. Xfire.com said the Lords of the Fallen feels like a darker Elden Ring, but they do point out one area where the game will likely stand apart. The Lords of the Fallen will use Unreal Engine 5. It's also going to be exclusive to current-gen consoles. Elden Ring was brilliant, okay? Its art design was spectacular. It got a lot of great nominations and a lot of great awards. The engine certainly has its rough edges, though, and the performance issues on the PS5 never truly felt resolved. Unreal 5 isn't perfect, but I think it shows great promise for games in the Souls-like genre. You're dealing with tight animations and iframes and milliseconds and seconds of response time, and you need the game to run incredibly well. As far as comparisons go to the previous Lords of the Fallen, this one will be quite a bit bigger. According to Xfire.com, CI Games revealed that the game will have a breathtakingly vertical world over 5 times bigger than its predecessor, and it'll feature a huge roster of NPCs to meet and stories to uncover. Jumping that much in size should leave fans, I would think, excited to dive in, and it also gives, I think, a shot at garnering Game of the Year attention, if it's that much larger than the original game. Then GGRecon.com said, the Lords of the Fallen is trying to be 2023's Elden Ring, and in their article they claim, it's clear that From Software bug has spread far and wide. And I can't disagree with this. Many of us speculated that Elden Ring would inspire years to come. I anticipate that both Breath of the Wild, Elden Ring, and even Tears of the Kingdom will be influencing future open-world games. And certainly Elden Ring is going to heavily influence any game attempting to dive in to the Souls-like genre. Now, GG Recon also said that, quote, the Lords of the Fallen very much seems like it's attempting to channel the From Software design philosophies that make its work on Souls-like games so compelling. They also share creative ways the devs achieved creating such a large game. Like, how did you make the game so much larger than the last game? Quote, the game is set in Axiom and Umbral, which are 2 interconnected worlds that make the playable area 5 times larger than the map of its predecessor. And they went on to point out some of the game was Elden Ring, sort of like people thought it was Elden Ring DLC. They thought they saw these trailers, like, is that Elden Ring DLC? Generally, it seems that fans of FromSoft and Elden Ring are excited to jump into Lords of the Fallen. I'm noticing people saying, man, this game looks awesome. I can't wait to jump in. Even though it does look a lot like Elden Ring, nobody seems to be being harsh because of that. Now, the similarities were, according to the devs, an accident. Caesar Vertosu did an interview with Edge magazine, and according to NME.com, he admitted the studio braced for impact as From Software started revealing details about its revolutionary Souls-like. Quote, our breathtaking weapon, the flail, was showcased in the Elden Ring trailer, and that killed us inside. And we saw that one of our bosses was nearly identical to Millennia. So, Melania, however you say her name, a lot of people are pointing out, that there's a character in here that looks a lot like her with the hair. I actually think outside the hair doesn't look like her at all because they're in, full armor and have both their arms, and you can't even really tell if it's a guy or a girl. It could be, a guy with long hair. So, now, this is not, I don't think something to get caught up in. I don't think we need they stole, they copied. Like, games like this in development for so long, I highly doubt they went into their game and tried to, one-to-one carbon copy enemies from, Elden Ring. The one guy in this opening sequence even looks like the Witch King from Lord of the Rings, and Nazgul. I don't understand how that sort of artistic interpretation happens so close, but I don't necessarily think that this game was just straight up copying Elden Ring. And they're not without respect for From Software's Miyazaki. The creative director said that Miyazaki is our daddy and granddaddy. Without him, we wouldn't have any jobs. But they aren't simply wanting to follow in the footsteps of the giants before them. They would like to be seen as second place in the genre. More from NME.com. The Lords of the Fallen executive producer Saul Gascon went on to say that Hexworks' ambitions include wanting the studio to become a reference in the genre. Quote, "We want to be the second reference after From Software because right now there is no clear second reference in the Souls-like genre." So when I say this is a potential Game of the Year contender, I'm not the only one seeing the potential. They're looking to stand apart in some ways from Elden Ring. However, they also want to be seen as almost second place to From Software. And they are departing in some ways from the way that Elden Ring does things. For example, the Loadout.com says the Lords of the Fallen offers seamless co-op, unlike Elden Ring, and they say that the Lords of the Fallen will bring together players through co-op gameplay, and you won't need to mess around with different items like in Elden Ring. So if you've ever tried to do co-op in a game like this, it can be a little tedious because you have to use an item, and then if somebody dies, you have to reconnect after the fact. Even in the goofy, meme-laden Souls game, The Lost Hero of Nostalgaia, yes, I know how to say nostalgia, but it's The Lost Hero of Nostalgaia, a hilarious game. You should check it out if you're a fan of Souls games, but even in that game, the co-op largely worked this way. According to this article, in a recent interview with Edge Magazine, Hexworks creative director Cesar Virtuoso outlines the co-op mode, and it'll be seamless and untethered. Rather than use several in-game items to spawn other players, each session will get a co-op participants together for as long as they desire, whereas dying in Elden Ring would send you back. The Lords of the Fallen places fallen friends into spectator mode, and you are able to join the battle again if your ally can resurrect you. So more of a traditional co-op experience. If you go down, your buddy's got to get you back up. If you played Returnal's co-op or pretty much any other co-op game, you can get your buddy up, and bring them back into the game. But it does something very, very similar to Souls games with respect to invasions. Playing with your friends will come at a cost. Co-op mode aligns with the Radiant Church, an in-game faction that will call upon PvP invaders. And they actually recommend that you serve Umbral itself, which will task you with, you can actually avenge players' deaths, but you have to fight a really hard AI to do it. So if you're going to play co-op, you're going to invite invasions. I tend to avoid that in games like this. These games quickly fall into a meta, and then if you're not playing the meta, you're going to get absolutely, killed, and sometimes I just want to play with my buddies, so I will probably be skipping out on that. Now, in the realm of difficulty and accessibility, okay, the reason I say difficulty and accessibility is because I don't want this line to be blurred. I'm always going to keep these separate. So anytime I talk about difficulty, I make sure to talk about accessibility, because accessibility is about helping impaired players access a game. This could be done through special controllers like we've seen from both Xbox and Sony, or even just settings like colorblind mode. Difficulty or difficulty settings have nothing to do with the push for more accessibility in games. Blurring this line is unhelpful, okay? Difficulty is one of the hottest debates in Souls-like games. Recently, a tweet went viral insisting that the lack of easy mode in Elden Ring was discrimination against disabled minorities. Now, obviously, this was either a blatant impression farm, they were just baiting people, because it's one of the stupidest things I've ever read on the internet, and I'm on the internet all the time, or this might have been somebody being serious, and if it was somebody being serious, it just reads like a bad joke. It's intellectually bankrupt to claim this. Beyond that, there is a discussion that can be had about accessibility, but I would say in a different way. I would rather use the word approachable, because accessibility has nothing to do with how hard a game is. It's about making the game accessible to somebody who may need certain settings to just see the differences in colors or interact with the game through a special controller. But that has nothing to do with how hard the game is. I think difficult games like this can make themselves more approachable. And in times, I think past, Souls-like games are the worst offenders in this subject. They tell you nothing. And the people that love the games will tell you, well, that's part of the journey, that's part of the enjoyment, but for others, it's just an unnecessary hurdle. And to be quite honest, there's probably a lot of potential fans out there that would get into these games if you would just give them a little bit of a nudging help at the beginning so they know what's going on. Well, Lords of the Fallen is going to try to win you over. Well, sort of. It's going to be hard, but they're going to try to win you over. According to GamesRadar.com, Lords of the Fallen has a, quote, lengthy onboarding experience to help with the frustration of Souls-likes. And again, we're going to notice something here in this article. There's comparisons to Elden Ring, all right? They open the article by saying, in an effort to curb the frustration that sometimes accompanies the Souls-likes experience, Lords of the Fallen pays extra attention to the way it introduces players to its rules and world, seemingly with a bit more care than the likes of Elden Ring. So, how are they going to do this? How are they going to get you into this game? Keep in mind, many Souls fans have a catalyst moment, okay? For me, it was Jedi Fallen Order, and then in Sekiro, Madame Butterfly. This could be, I think, a great way to be a very big Souls game catalyst for people if they pull this off. Here is what they said. We have created a lengthy onboarding experience because the difference between motivation and frustration is understanding why you failed and what the game wants you to do. Creative director Cesar Virtuoso told us in a recent hands-on preview. He said, with long onboarding, we believe that players will be able to practice and master all the basics before we let them out into the unforgiving world. I love the way this is phrased. The distinction between motivation and frustration. Understanding why you failed is a huge factor in feeling like your ego or your pride sort of gets pricked. You want to keep trying if you understand why you failed. The sayings like, I can do this or I almost had that, that's a common theme in these games. You're going to feel that internally, but you can't really get there mentally if you don't know why you're failing. And just so we're clear, this is not an easy mode. This is not them saying, oh, this is going to be an easy game. They're going to let you kind of get your feet wet before they throw you into the deep end of the pool. This could quite literally be the dividing line between a new fan and another disgruntled customer. As far as I can tell, Lords of the Fallen is an ambitious title, with a certain amount of the deck stacked against it. Comparisons to Elden Ring make sense, but it could also be the game's undoing. Or it could be just the thing to bring this game up into the big leagues and bring the Souls-like genre just a bit further. And maybe, in the process, they snag a Game of the Year nomination. Let me give you my thoughts and my conclusion. Okay, poor music choice aside, all right? I think the latest Lords of the Fallen trailer sets a big stage for the game. If comparisons to Elden Ring aren't enough, standing alone in the genre this year may let it stand tall in the crowd. The universal criticism of the music hopefully helps them sort of refine their future marketing efforts, because if film and gaming have taught us anything, it's that the music and the sound design team never get enough credit, because they make or break the content. The second thing I want to say, debates about difficulty in video games are likely to never come to an end. At the very least, I think we need clear categories to have helpful discussions. Accessibility and difficulty are separate, and they should be discussed separately. Accessibility is about opening the door for access to more people. It's not about watering down a game's challenges. And Lords of the Fallen is taking a smart approach, especially since Elden Ring made Souls games far more mainstream than they already were. Conclusion. Many think that Souls-like games are a small niche category. It should be very clear that that has not been true for a very long time. The genre is popular, and the games sell well, which means that Lords of the Fallen is going to have to deliver excellence if they want to survive. And if they do that, they just might land themselves on the Game of the Year podium with some industry giants this year. And that's the show open. Thank you guys so much for being here. I do think, I'm genuinely thinking this, I feel like this game's gonna land up on the podium. This game's gonna land on the podium. It will, in fact, I believe, get some kind of a Game of the Year nomination. Now, will it win? I don't think so. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Get the day started right. Let's get some coffee orders going. The new Reforge roast site is up and running. Be sure to use that. Get your orders in. The light roast and the Frickmas are getting lower and lower. We're almost out. So take advantage of that sale and start the gifted members right. We went crazy yesterday again. And let's go crazy again today. Members, as a reminder, VIPs, we have a VIP unfiltered debrief today. And tonight, my wife and I will be playing Tears of the Kingdom. I went and got a bunch of shrines. I think 10 shrines that we can just fast travel to. So we're just going to be doing a bunch of shrines tonight, seeing who can solve the most, maybe. Let's see who's better at solving the shrines. Asman was talking about this as well. Yeah, the Lords of the Fallen gameplay trailer is sort of making waves. And sadly, it's making waves for some of the wrong reasons, because the music choice was really, really bad. His poor luck, my patience for that ran out Wednesday. Oh, was somebody in here causing trouble? Oh, well. Yeah, we don't really feel like dealing with those people. Yeah, people are already in here. Oh, my gosh. It's amazing to me how many people are reacting to the whole, like, Microsoft's not a publisher thing, and they don't understand what I'm saying. It's amazing. It'll be a good game, but I believe Spider-Man 2 and Zelda will take the cake anyway. Great to see you. Good to see you, Polarin. Listen, I don't think this game can win, but I think it can get nominated. Right? I think it can get nominated. I don't think this game can win, but I definitely think it can get nominated. I think it's going to kick somebody off the podium. Jedi Survivor, probably. Music choice is subjective. I wouldn't use it either, but I don't think it took away from the trailer, at least me personally. Music choice was great. Listen, I know it's subjective, right? Oh, I don't have the sub goal up on the thing, the member goal up on the thing. There we go. I know it's subjective. But there were so many people commenting on how bad the music was. Like, you're right, but I do think sometimes you can come to the conclusion that maybe we made a poor choice. I'm not going to say you made the wrong choice, but given the reception from the audience in the comments and on Twitter, I would say you probably didn't make the best choice. There is a bit of a dissonance between the music and the footage. That doesn't mean it's bad. I'm sorry, it doesn't mean it's wrong. It certainly would say it's not a fit. Play the trailer. I'm not going to play the trailer because that music might be copyrighted. I'm not going to do that. It's literally like an 80s ballad. It's like, it's like, what is happening? Like, huh? Why are people, what is happening? You know, I was expecting the person with the long hair to be like doing that thing where they're like, like whipping their hair around. I was like waiting for that moment in the trailer. I know it's subjective, but it's subjectively terrible. It's Iron Maiden, you don't know? Hey, I'm going to fill you in on something. I don't listen to a lot of that music, right? I don't. The music is copywritten. It's Iron Maiden. There you go. Yeah. So, I've never listened to Iron Maiden, all right? You know, you're embarrassing yourself. Why? Because I'm not familiar with a band? I'm sorry, I don't listen to Iron Maiden, right? I could probably play some metal bands and you'd be like, who's that? And I'd be like, this is so-and-so. I'm ashamed of my brother. You're talking to the wrong guy. Derek's the big metal guy, right? Derek is the big metal guy. He's not me. I didn't say it was a bad song. It doesn't fit. It feels out of place. Yo, Matt Johnson with 3 months of membership. Welcome back in. You the best. 5 gifted members from Lord Finesse. He says, listen, you guys don't want to miss the members-only content. Hey, you guys should upgrade to VIP. Today's the VIP Unfiltered Debrief with my producer. It's an amazing segment every week. Thank you, Lord Finesse. Derek says, I apologize to the entire chat for not teaching Lono about Iron Maiden. Yeah, I mean, I listen to ABR, and Derek would listen to, you know, Dream Theater and the Liquid Tension Experiment, and we watched videos with Michael Portnoy. But listen, we never listened to Iron Maiden. We just didn't. The song is distracting. Familiarity of Iron Maiden wouldn't have made the trailer song choice any better. Right. Such a weird argument stance. Yeah, like, just because I'm not familiar with Iron Maiden doesn't mean it was a very strange choice for the trailer. Nick D09 with 16 months says, smash the like button. What do you like, Depeche Mode, REM? I don't want to have a music discussion. That's not going to be beneficial for today's stream. That's going to confuse the heck out of YouTube, and that's not good for the past broadcast. Like, I'd rather talk about if you guys think this thing actually has a chance of getting a Game of the Year nomination. Maybe we could discuss difficulty. Maybe we could discuss that hilarious tweet that said, Elden Ring's discriminating by not having an easy mode. I'd rather kind of keep things on subject, right? So, yeah, Lone Wolf, like the Dream Theater and the Liquid Tension Experiment mentioned. Yeah, like, come on. I'm not terribly versed in music, but I'm not completely versed, right? There's just certain things that I'm unaware of, I could put a John Denver song over this trailer and be like, you guys don't know who John Denver is? What's the matter? This song's great. This song's cooking. I want to play this game. Real men don't listen to metal. Real men can actually process their emotions. TJ Rage with 8 months of membership. Thank you so much. I feel that cringe Marvel DC music moment. Last music memory, I promise. Do you remember Mom getting furious with me because I had an Iron Maiden CD? I don't remember that. I was talking, we were discussing this morning music in the church with my book club, and we were discussing like how much it's changed, and I told him about how I was always debating with my youth pastor about like growing up, like, this music's not bad, and I told him about how we had to listen to DC Talk in secret because it was like considered bad. all right, that's enough. We can't do that. You're going to hijack the whole stream. No one's going to watch or tune in and stay when they tune in and hear us talking about music and everything we're talking about. All right, so I'm genuinely curious. This isn't clickbait. I didn't come up with today's title and thumb just to be silly. I watched this trailer 2 or 3 times, and I was like, bro, I think this game's going to get a Game of the Year nomination. I do. I absolutely think that The Lords of the Fallen is getting a Game of the Year nomination. It'll probably get a couple other nominations as well. Maybe RPG, anything like that. Canton boys are going wild. Yeah. Oh, sounds too much like my childhood. Yeah, just this opening scene alone is crazy. And then the combat looks so sick. I don't know. Solemn says, people with disabilities don't need an easy mode. They need a tool and a special accessibility related setting that lets them play the way that we do, which is already something available to almost all of them. Right, to a certain extent, Solemn, I want to be careful before I say, yeah, there's plenty of accessibility options out there, and plenty of ways for them to play. I think it's better than it was, but I wouldn't say that the work is done, okay? But the question I would have is, why do you think someone with some sort of a disability needs the game to be easier? If, like, let's say they're like Rocky No Hands, okay? Rocky and I have gone back and forth a few times on Twitter. I've shown his streams to my kiddos. They think that it's awesome that this guy slays out in Call of Duty and he plays with his mouth, okay? The man plays with his mouth, okay? Now, if you argue that he should have an easier version of Call of Duty because his limited ability to play and move, that would get into very strange territory. What are you going to do? Give him increased aim assist? Some level of an aimbot? Some level of aim tracking? Like, do you understand? You can't go down this line of thinking very far before you get into the theater of the absurd, where you're telling somebody, well, because you have this impairment, you need to have things made easier for you. That's never been the argument. And it's not even an argument. It's more of advocacy of saying, hey, there are people who are motor impaired. Maybe they only have one hand. Maybe they don't have all of their digits. Maybe they have some form of color blindness. Can you add settings? Can you make a controller? Can you create lanes of accessibility for us to play? For people in this category, we want to be able to play. We're all in the gamer category together, but there are people within the gaming category that are lacking certain either motor function or they're impaired visually in some way. And those are inroads to access, right? The root word of accessibility is access. You're trying to just give them access to the game. They don't have access. No kick stream today. Fridays, it just doesn't work. Because I have to have so much set up to do with Mike for the second stream. It's a pain in the rear. Because I stream on the gaming rig to kick. So no kick streams on Friday generally. Accessibility doesn't mean easy mode, says Suede. It means providing tools and or options to make the game accessible to them. Right. And that's the problem is you're really hijacking the accessibility conversation when you look at a game like Lords of the Fallen or Elden Ring, and you're like, well, I'd love to dive into Lords of the Fallen gameplay, but it needs an easy mode. And if there's no easy mode, that's discrimination. And it's like, I don't think you understand what these words mean because you're saying utter nonsense. The last Lords of the Fallen was much more cartoony. I like the art direction more. Yeah, I agree with you. Important URL claimed by another Google merchant account. We're writing to let you know that you just lost your URL claim. Another merchant account. Okay, verified and claimed. That's totally fine. Yep, go for it. Go to work. Creatures doing the Lord's work in the background. Journalist mode. True, but you can only make so many options to add to a game before you start changing the whole game itself. You obviously are going to have a hard time playing either way in a coma. Well, but we need to be careful. We need to be careful. That's just me, chill. I was just making sure that it wasn't something else. We need to be careful, though, Solemn. Coma is not some sort of a disability or an impairment. A coma is you're unconscious, like, right? You can't do anything. That's not what disabilities and impairments are, right? We need to be careful in how we speak about this. We don't want to be like glib or crass. The fact of the matter is that I don't think you ever have to change the fabric of the game in an effort to increase accessibility. Colorblind options, they don't change the fabric of the game. Accessibility options should be like putting windows and doors on a house. It's not changing the inside of the house itself. It's offering more opportunities to get in the house. Windows, doors, ladder. The more windows and doors and entrance points into the house you make, you're not changing what's on the inside. Does that make sense? DK Bager upgraded to VIP. Thank you so much. The minute you start going into the game itself and tinkering with difficulties and with difficulty settings or enemy health or anything like that, we're not having a discussion about accessibility as soon as you do that. We are no longer talking about accessibility. We are now talking about difficulty. We're now talking about art design and art intention, the philosophy behind the art. I have another video up elsewhere about this, and essentially what I said was, you're not entitled to every art form that's out there. You're not. How do movies make themselves accessible to people who can't see? How do musicians make their art accessible to people who can't hear? The catalyst for enjoying music is hearing. The catalyst for enjoying movies is sight. There's only so much you can do to build bridges for those people. You get to the point where it's like they won't be able to see the movie, right? There are people who we know personally who are legally blind. They cannot see anything, and they're never going to be able to watch a movie unless, of course, obviously, in the future there could be insane neurological things that they're able to do to like send the movie to their brain or something, or just really, really great technology to restore sight. But until that happens, the movie themselves, there's no impetus on the movie to make themselves accessible to somebody who cannot see. DK Bager with 5 gifted members. Thank you so much. Taking us to 10 and a $5 tip, a super chat tip from East Coast Overlord. There's a difference between wanting journalist mode and accessibility. Accessibility is keybinds, colorblind modes, not difficulty options. Audio description, audio tracks are kind of amazing, but your point stands. Yeah, but the movie maker isn't doing site restoration, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully not. And again, what you're saying, Zubair, like audio description and audio tracks, that's an accessibility feature. That's not them changing the substance of their movie. Does that make sense? Like, if you can't ask them to change the substance of the movie or even how the movie is delivered. They're adding an extra thing so that, like, oh, I can watch the movie and have it described to me. Car going down the road, man jumps out in front of the car, man struck by car. Things like that. If you've ever watched these videos with the description, the audio description running, it can be very, like, you're like, what's happening if you're not accustomed to it. Struggling with finding easy mode for life. Anyone got an easy mode finder? Thank you, Quintar. That's funny. Just caught up on your video. That gameplay looks amazing. Yeah, I agree. I think they've got some really, really tight movement and combat in here. Just some of the quick dodges. I'm very, very excited to try this one out. I'm curious if UE5 poses any challenge with making a Souls-style game. I'm really curious. There's a lot of UE5 games on the horizon that are using, that are Souls-like. There was one that came out recently. I don't think it did very well. What was it called? I forget the name of it now. What was it called? Bleak Faith? Didn't Bleak Faith do really poorly? I feel like it did. What's your list for Game of the Year? Might actually have working. Okay. Yeah, my Game of the Year list is right now, obviously not all the games are out. So this is speculation. I have to qualify everything because people will quote me out of context. This guy thinks this is Game of the Year. It's not even out yet. So, yeah, this is speculation just based on all of the things that we have seen so far, okay? As far as I can tell, right? Yeah, Creature, it says on YouTube's end to continue setting up on Shopify, so it looks like you're moving things along. So right now, I feel like Zelda's got it locked, okay? Zelda's got it locked. I was playing last night. I went around and I claimed 10 different shrines so my wife and I can play Zelda Tears of the Kingdom for you guys tonight. A great reason to be a member, a great reason to be in the Discord or to turn on notifications. The streams with my wife are hilarious, right? It's Friday night. We're having some drinks. We're having some laughs. You don't want to miss it. Members, be here, okay? But I feel Zelda Tears of the Kingdom's the front runner. Second place, or the game that could edge out Tears of the Kingdom, I believe is Spider-Man 2. Because we're hearing things about Spider-Man 2. We're hearing whispers about Spider-Man 2. It's ambitious. Somebody that works for Insomniac stated that they're trying to build the best game they've ever built. That's Insomniac talking, okay? That's tall. It's tall order. Final Fantasy 16 will definitely be up there. Jason Hudson says, dude, I want to see that. He becomes a member and takes us to 11 members on the day. You don't have to wait for gifteds. Hit that $sign at the bottom of the chat or hit the join button. Get involved, man. I'm streaming all month long. You get a month worth of members-only content. Consider doing VIP or upgrading. Today is Friday, which means you get the end of the week unfiltered debrief with me and my producer and 30 and Still Gaming, and it's only for VIPs and above. That's the only thing we do just for VIPs. Anyway, so Final Fantasy 16 will probably be up on the podium. I don't think Jedi Survivor stands a chance at this point. I don't think it deserves it. I played patch 5 last night. I'm still getting a ridiculous amount of screen tearing. Seriously, heartfelt. I want to say so many mean things to Disney. That is Disney's fault. That game was not ready, and Disney wanted a Star Wars game every 6 months, and they absolutely screwed that game. I'm furious about what they've done to Jedi Survivor, because I know it's a great game with great story and cool stuff, but it runs like hot garbage still. Screen tearing? What is going on? It's not like a little stutter here and there. It's dadgum screen tearing. Now, Hogwarts might be up there. Hogwarts might surprise everybody. I need to fix something. Give me 1 second. I forgot to set the white balance on the cameras. It was going up and down because I moved my hands and moved my arms. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Hogwarts might surprise everybody and at least get a nomination. Don't know about winning, but I believe it would get a nomination. Jedi is still that bad. Listen, some people are going to say I'm overstating it. I'm not overstating it. It's a next-gen only title that was $70. It has constant screen tearing. You can quite literally frick off if you think that that's acceptable. Like, just go all the way down the road. I don't want to talk to you, okay? Screen tearing, textures loading, big frame drops on Kobo, crashes. It's bad performance-wise. There's a good game under there. That makes it more frustrated, Solemn. It makes it more frustrating. There's a fantastic game underneath, and I can't play the dadgum thing. Resident Evil 4 Remake, I don't know how that lands in Game of the Year nominations, but I could see it getting a nomination as well, yes. I work with a lot of guys who have TBI and love video games. Not one of them wants anything to be easier. They do enjoy an assist mode, though, in some games. That doesn't change the core. What can you describe to me what's an assist mode? Yo, more cat! More cat bumps up to VIP. That's the way to do it. You just keep chanting VIP in the chat. Solemn says Spider-Man 2 is going to have to bring it to beat Tears of the Kingdom. It can't just be more Spider-Man 1. They're going to have to be big-time innovate. I'm telling you, when Insomniac says we're going to make a PS5-only title, I don't know. Screen tearing hasn't been a thing in a generation. What happened? I have no idea what's going on in that game. It's infuriating. It's infuriating. I think Spider-Man 2, I do. I think Spider-Man 2 is setting their sights on something very special. Very, very special. I've got good feelings about that game. I really, really do. Currently, we're sitting at 3,330 members. 3,330. And we have, let me tell you how many VIPs. We have 279. 279 VIPs. Guys, we're like 20-something people away. We had 272 yesterday. That's a big jump in VIPs. Yo, if you guys hit 300 VIPs, Preacher has to play a game with me. He's so grumpy about that, guys. Make that happen. Every time we hit a milestone, he has to play something with me. 300, then 400, and so forth. Come on, man. Make this man play. He is very grumpy. He was on the phone with me, and he was like, man, what do these people want from us? Make it happen, please, for me. Anyway, I'm playing through Rift Apart. If Spider-Man 2 builds on what they did for that game, it'll be a game changer. I completely agree. I completely agree with you. I really, really do. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about the latest Lords of the Fallen gameplay trailer. It debuted yesterday to big applause. I think the music's terrible. I don't want to get into a music debate. We already kind of talked about that. But we're discussing whether or not we think this game is going to kind of sneak up onto the Game of the Year podium. I don't think this game will win. I think it's got some very, very stiff competition with Final Fantasy 16, Spider-Man 2, and then the front runner right now seems to be Tears of the Kingdom, The Legend of Zelda. So the assist mode is what they did in Celeste, where you can scale combat, speed, enemy aggro, etc. Helps with their ability to respond efficiently to some of the harder content without affecting others' ability to experience the game, basically. Well, here's the problem with that. I don't think you can do that in a Souls game, because you're fundamentally changing the fabric of the game if you're giving people longer windows of time to respond. Because here's the reality. Let's take first-person shooters as a test case. The older you get, the slower your reflexes are. At what point do we say, oh, my reflexes are slower, this isn't fair? I need to be assisted because my reflexes are slower than the 16-year-old basement gremlin who plays this game all day long, right? He's snorting G Fuel off his desk. I'm never going to compete with this guy. I need to be assisted. My reflexes are slower. Reflexes, muscle memory, intelligence, these are all existing on a scale. We're not all equal, okay? Regardless what your mama told you, you ain't special. We're not all equal. So, your reflexes, your intelligence, your problem-solving abilities are not the same as mine. So, the difficulty here is, no pun intended, the difficulty here is, at what point are you making the game easier just because somebody can't keep up with it. And then how do you attribute, oh, but this is a disability. My reflexes are slower because of a disability. It's an area that needs to be further explored. It's difficult, right? It's like there's this gray area where people, I don't think you're doing this, Detective Seeds, but people try to smuggle in accessibility into the discussion. Yo, thank you, Quintar, for a VIP. Very, very much. I don't know if that takes us to 280 or not. You guys can use the upgrade command in chat if you want to join us for those wonderful VIP streams on Friday. I'm 40 and my reflexes are definitely not what they used to be. Right, and at what point are you arguing that, like, oh, well, this person's reflexes are slower, so they ought to be helped? It's a difficult decision. It's a difficult discussion because how do you measure some of this? How do you quantify this is a disability that requires access points, and this is a disability that requires the game to be changed? I can't hop over the access points. It's like the game makers have a right to protect their art. Yo, Quintar with 5 gifted members taking us to 16. You guys always bring it on a Friday. Thank you so much. If you just got gifted a member, you can be a part of the members-only festivities. This afternoon's VIP only, but tonight my wife and I are going to play some Zelda, and you can join us. Do me a favor. If you're just tuning in, make sure and smash the like button. We need 50 more likes for 300 likes. That's a free way to help out the video. My second stream today will be about Starfield. I'll be sitting down with 30 and Still Gaming asking the question, is this their last chance? Wait, what is this? Huh? What? Oh. All of a sudden, I bought something on Nintendo. I was like, I'm sitting right here. I didn't buy anything on Nintendo. DK Bager is going to nudge that member goal up to 17. Thank you, DK. It goes to Electric Storm. To be fair, you're talking about PvP. That's not the same as whatever accessibility options might be used in a single-player game. Well, no, the analogy stands, though. The idea being that this is not fair because I'm slower in my reflexes. You could use the same argument like, okay, so you built a first-person shooter, and the goal of your development team was to make an insanely high-octane, super fast, super challenging first-person shooter. Well, my reflexes are too slow for that. I'm old man status. You need to add a slowdown accessibility feature so I can play your game. So ignore PvP. I was just using that as a catalyst to the discussion of at what point when your reflexes slow down would you be considered in the same category as somebody who has some sort of a brain abnormality that makes it difficult for them to respond quickly to a video game. One is an unnatural ailment. They've been impaired in some way, and yours is just the natural degradation of your body. You're just getting old. You know, you're slower when you go to run. You're slower when you try to react in a shooter. JW with 5 gifted memberships takes us to 22. You guys never slow down. This community and its generosity is unmatched on YouTube. If there was an award ceremony for most generous communities on YouTube, we would be up on the podium every month. You guys are nuts. Yeah, just stop getting old. Play something more their speed. How do I buy coffee? What's the website? You can use the coffee command in chat. Veeder has done that for you, or you can go to reforgeroast.com. Anyway, at a certain point, we're all going to be too slow to play. I would like it if there was a difficulty option that lets me play until I'm even older than that. Detective Seed says, I would also point out, some of these studios do not have the budget to enhance and implement some of these features. It's a new area, and it changes the core of the game. And if it changes the core of the game, that's a big change. That's an excellent point, because we should all cheer when Santa Monica adds like 70 accessibility options to God of War Ragnarok, but we can't extrapolate an imperative from that and say, this is what all studios should do. Really? A studio with 100 people should take on that undue harm and do extra work? You think that? Like, come on. That's ridiculous. Yeah, You know what's funny, Sven? They keep claiming that the Spider-Man from the video game isn't in the movie, and you know what I say to that? You guys are lying. You're lying. They're lying. It was like when Andrew Garfield kept saying he wasn't in the movie. It's like, listen, homie, you're lying right to my face. You're lying right to my face. The Spider-Man for the video game is in Spider-Verse movie. Quit lying to us. He's on the dadgum art cover of the movie, doing the same pose from the video game cover. They're liars. And they're not good at it. Andrew Garfield. Yeah, I'm not in the movie. No, I'm not in the movie. I know there's pictures of me wearing the outfit. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Yeah, they showed the Spider-Man from the video game in the trailer. Yeah, and then they said he's not in there. It's like, okay, sure, liars. He's in a dadgum trailer. That was a mistake. The original product info inadvertently referenced the upcoming Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse film and was not meant to include any reference to the multiverse. No, they're lying. The original So we're supposed to go back in time. The original Marvel Spider-Man, when it came out, they accidentally have him in the same pose, same outfit from the cover art of the movie and the movie itself. They're just lying to us. They're trying to protect an Easter egg. They're lying. There's no way. Anyway. Yo, what's good, Broken Lobo? How are you? It was Photoshop? No, it wasn't. Mm-mm. There's even a brand new movie poster, and he's on the movie poster. It's not a Photoshop. I'm an old buck myself, says Dan, but I've played with dudes well into their 70s. Right. The point being, we're discussing the Lords of the Fallen. If you guys are unaware of this, the Lords of the Fallen is going to have an onboarding process to sort of get you into the game before it gets really difficult, because they said there's a big dividing line between motivation and frustration. In order for you to become motivated to beat a game, you have to understand what's going on. Like, why did I fail? Yo, Doctor's Office, thanks so much for 10 months of membership. Morning, everyone. Have a great stream, Lono. Thank you. So we're on the subject of like difficulty and accessibility because they commonly get conflated. Guys, I need you to do me a favor. There's 556 people here. I asked for likes. Nobody did it. We need that. We need that. We've gone a long time without having a harp on it. So I'm only going to say that one time. I want to move on and talk. So come out of that lurk mode and give us that thumbs up. The challenge level needs to be slightly higher than your current skill level to keep you hooked. Right. So I said in the show open that the idea of I've almost got it or I can do this, you can't get there mentally if you don't understand why you're failing. Like, you cannot get there mentally if you're literally just dying, failing, and there's no explanation. We've talked about this before in PvP. If you play against people that are light years better than you, you'll never... They're like, oh, don't you want to learn? Don't you get better by losing? There's a chasm between low-skilled and high-skilled players, and if that chasm's too broad, that skill gap's too broad, the low-skilled player doesn't learn anything. The same can be applied in games, in Souls-like games. The same can be applied. If the chasm's too big and you have no idea why you are failing, you will never be motivated to continue. You don't know what's going on. The difficulty debate is dead, says Broken Lobo. I foresee a lot of pain and no damage goodness in my future. I like that. I think I saw Derek make the comment already, but is the main hang-up PvP versus single player? If it's single player, what's the issue with providing options, as many options as possible? Once there's an online component, someone will exploit. All right, I shouldn't have made the reference to PvP because we're getting hung up on that. Okay, we're getting hung up on that. All right, track with me here. Forget PvP. Let's go back in time and pretend I didn't make that reference. The point I made in the show open was, maybe I didn't make it in the show open. I made this in my video about it. So I'm gonna restate some of my content from another video right now. If the artistic vision for the game is we want this to be a hard game, here's how we want these fights to go, This is how much damage we want the boss to have, how much damage we want the boss to dole out. The authorial intent, the intention of the author, the creator, the artist, that's what they want to make. What I'm saying is there's no impetus on them to change their art because you have some sort of an impairment. It could be a mental impairment of slower reflexes, slower response time. It could be a motor impairment. Maybe you don't have all of your fingers from an accident. Maybe you were born without your right arm. That's some form of motor impairment. Accessibility to help you play the game with a special controller or a special set of settings isn't the same as telling the artist, you need to make an easy mode so that I can play the game. We're having two different discussions. Those are separate discussions. Here's the product. This is the product as it's been designed. Accessibility is about building bridges or access points so that anybody that wants access to this can have access to it. It's not about altering the substance of this over here. The minute you start altering the substance of this product, we're no longer having a discussion about accessibility. Changing the fabric, the substance, and the content is not accessibility. Accessibility is getting the player from point A to point B. From here to I can play your game. I can access your game. That's all it is. The root word of accessible is access. So the minute you start altering the art, you start messing with the product, you're doing something completely different. Oh, add an easy mode because I'm impaired in some way. You're not talking about accessibility. You're talking about tinkering with the art. You're talking about altering the art itself. Like the controller PlayStation just tweeted out yesterday to celebrate, right, Global Accessibility Awareness Day. Noble effort. It's a great thing. It's a great thing to do. But it doesn't have anything to do with how hard or how easy a game is. The minute you conflate those categories, it's so difficult to have a discussion. It's like, whoa, wait. What are we talking about? Because if we're talking about accessibility, that's increasing, you're widening the entrance to the game. It's more accessible. You can access it. That's not the same as going in and saying, well, we're going to change it. Accessibility is installing a wheelchair ramp, not putting everyone in a wheelchair. That doesn't... No. Yeah. Yes and no. That doesn't work quite well. Henry Heck, thank you so much for gifting a membership, taking us to 23. 23, thank you so much. Accessibility is increasing access to the building. It's not changing the substance of the building. Right? Think of it this way. Let's say you have 4 floors to your building, and you've added accessibility to make sure someone in a wheelchair can access every floor of the building. But the person in the wheelchair says, I don't want to go up to the 4th floor. You need to bring all that stuff down here and meet me down here. Do you see the difference? One is, that's accessible. I can get to all 4 floors. It'll take me a little bit longer to get to the 4th floor because I have to ride the elevator, or I have to use this, I don't know, maybe there's some new wheelchair-enabled escalator, okay, that you install. Whether you have that or an elevator, you've created access points to the floors. And they say, I don't want that. I want you to bring everything from the 4th floor, 3rd floor, and 2nd floor. I need it all brought down here to the bottom floor. That's not about accessibility. You're asking the company to take on undue harm and a restructuring of the building for you. That's not accessibility. Taking the content and bringing it all the way down to the easiest level, that's not accessibility. You're conflating. You're conflating the problem. We're giving you access to the game. You can use this controller. You can turn on these settings. You can bind these controls. You can turn on colorblind mode. We have audio assisted mode, or, those things, whatever it is. So if you do that, What you're doing is you're giving people access to the game. And once you're in the game, we're all playing the same game. That's the point. That's the point. So, Lords of the Fallen, the reason that I'm saying all of this is a super long diatribe about this. The reason that we're having this discussion is Lords of the Fallen has created an onboarding process, but they're not making the game easier. They're trying to get you they're trying to give you a catalyst. They're trying to give you a catalyst to be like, oh, I can enjoy this game. I can get better at this game. Because when I played Jedi Fallen Order, it was a catalyst into challenging melee-based games. When I finally beat Madame Butterfly, right? When I finally beat Madame Butterfly, it was like, oh, that now I've got a catalyst into the game. I can play this game. This is excellent, right? Like I can beat this. I can move to the to the next stage or whatever. So, in my mind, if you can give people that catalyst, right? If you can give people that catalyst, then I would think you're gonna easily grow your game and get more chat and get more people, get more fans, all of that. Yeah, well, I don't know. We're going to have to verify this and report on this another time. I don't disrupt my shows. For this stuff. I know everybody's going to run to Twitter and give me grief about it. Oh, you need to jump to change this. I did the exact same thing when the showcase was announced. I covered it the following day. So, don't disrupt my show, please. That's not what we're doing right now. I said the same thing when the Sony showcase got announced. I didn't let people disrupt my show. That's not what we do. I shouldn't feel like the game is easier if I use assist options. If I do, it's affecting difficulty and basically cheating. Here's the thing. You have to remember this as well. It's totally okay. If somebody wants to put in assisted things like what Detective Seeds described in Celeste. If you want to do that with your game, that's your business. That's totally fine. It's totally fine. That's your game. It's your game. You want to do that? Go right ahead. That's fine. But that doesn't create an impetus on other people to do that, right? Okay. Asked multiple times, and that's enough. Literally copy and pasting because you keep making the same typo. Please stop. Am I the only one old enough to remember cheat codes? Of course. There were cheat codes. There was Game Genie. There was all of that. Let me get the second stream. I'm going to schedule this for 12:15. So in the discussion of accessibility, in the discussion of difficulty, I do not think that what we are seeing with respect to, the way that they're approaching Lords of the Fallen, I do not feel that what we're looking at is, oh yeah, they're totally adding an easy mode, or oh yeah, they're totally making their game more accessible, right? That's not the case. That's not the goal. The goal is they're trying to build cartilage for you. Like, they want you to come into the game. They want you to be able to come and play the game and understand what the game is asking of you. If you have an understanding of like, okay, I'm jumping in the Lords of the Fallen gameplay, and I understand why I failed. I understand why I'm having success. If they can successfully do that, then you're way more likely to keep playing. You're way more likely to stay in the ring. Significantly more likely. And that's the entire point, is if you can build those lanes and you can make those inroads and give that person, that new player, a catalyst. Because the thing you got to consider is this, right? Your main camera is not at the right frame rate. Why does that keep happening? Match. I don't understand. It did this the other day. I think it's right now. I don't know. Chico, the cheats Gavin is talking about from an era before online existed, and I mean as in no internet. Music and accessibility aside, I think Lords of the Fallen has an uphill PR battle above all else. I think a lot of folks are going to look past this and think it's the same game from a few years ago or another remake remaster. It's at 30? Is it really? Oh yeah, it totally is. I don't know why that's happening. I really don't know why that's happening. I've not changed any settings on my camera, so I'll take it. If you need an easy mode for every game, then you aren't the kind of gamer who deserves to play every game. Well, speaking in deserves language is kind of weird. It's not about what you deserve to play. It's if you're seeking out, like, let's word it another way. If you're wanting every single game to basically be catered to you, I find that to be, you know, I actually find that to be backwards to a certain degree, because you're essentially saying, I want every single game to be. Did that fix it? I don't know how to fix this. I forget how we fixed this the last time this happened. I can't tell if did that do it? I can't tell. It's so hard to tell. It's about respecting the creators and how they play. Downright puritanical. I mean, asking a game to be something other than what the developers wanted it to be, I just don't think makes any sense. Lono starts playing Zelda and wants everything at 30 FPS now. Yeah, change the camera. Move slowly, Lono. Very slowly. Yeah, I'll just pan. I'll just move like they do in the trailers. Like that, right? That's how they move in the trailers. Narcissist people expect the world to cater to them, regardless of how the game was made. I don't think it's narcissistic. I don't think you're using the appropriate word. It'd be self-centered, self-referential, entitled. Narcissism doesn't necessarily apply in this discussion. Narcissism is sort of in a different category. Difficulty in a game is personal. It's not a one-shoe-fits-all. Right. At some level, okay, it says Fox. What? Did I miss is that not titled properly? Xbox's last chance. It says Fox. Fox Xbox. Oh my gosh. I made a mistake. Fox Xbox. Dad, come it. Give me like 2 seconds. I'm like looking at it. I'm like, what are you talking about? I wonder if anybody noticed on Twitter. I literally scheduled a tweet. It's one of the few times I think I've ever scheduled a tweet to say, hey, this is what we're going live with. Last chance for Xbox. Last chance Fox Xbox. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. Good catch, Hilly. Good catch. If we fix it before it goes live, it'll spare us some embarrassment. Oh, that's embarrassing. So what I do is when I make my thumbnails, I actually make two versions. And so there's always the version of like, All right, here's what I have with the live, and here's what I have without the live. Like, I put live down in the corner because I want to make sure anybody that clicks on the thumbnail when we're live, like, they know it's a live show, because there are people that'll click and get angry. You know, they're like, oh, I didn't want a live stream. But then later, when it's a VOD, I don't mind if it doesn't have the live, because it's like it's different. Okay. All right. Fox. Last chance. Fox Xbox. Yeah, it's it was a faux pas because I wasn't supposed to break this news, but yeah, it's we just accidentally leaked that Fox is buying Xbox, so sorry about that, everybody. Wait, hang on. Save, yes, replace, save. And then I'm going to do today. Got to rename it. Oh, man. The joys of being a YouTuber that as I've, having a fly by the seat of my pants on a Friday sometimes. Last chance for Xbox. I guarantee you people have caught that one on Twitter. Guarantee you. Last chance for what? Last chance for what? Fox, ha ha ha. Oh my goodness. It's the life we live, man. YouTubers. The life we live. Making mistakes, dude. Making mistakes. Hang on. Okay. I just killed the momentum, chat. We were cruising. Wait, why did we drop so much? Did YouTube have like a blip or something? Maybe me fiddling with the camera caused like frame issues or something. What do I get if I become a VIP? We do a VIP end of the week debrief every week. It's completely unfiltered. I hang out with my producer. I hang out with 30 and So Gaming. Sort of a behind the scenes look of like everything that we're doing, everything that is going on. And then if we do like a community game night, you get first dibs. So when we did Jackbox community game night, you guys got the room code first. You guys got like the game code first in the Discord. There's like a VIP lounge for you in the Discord. Yeah, I don't know why I don't know what happened. We climbed up to like 580 viewers and we just like immediately fell. I think YouTube is once again having problems. We no longer run on low latency for that reason, because every time I ran on low latency, we would have these weird blips and problems, and we would just drop like a rock every time it happened. So I've been running normal latency for a couple of weeks, and it's really helped. So Ula Tech with the gifted member. That's one way to turn the numbers around. YouTube likes to see that. They also like it when you smash like. Help us recover from whatever the frick YouTube's doing today. Smash the like button. Gift the members. It'll help us turn this one around. Second show today is about Starfield. The tweet's still up. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it up. Who cares? My stream is delayed and repeated a few seconds, and then I refreshed. Yeah, I can tell something's going on. Like, typically when I've been streaming I've been doing this for a long time on YouTube, you don't just suddenly lose like 80 people. Like, it's because YouTube's jacking around with something. Yo, DK Bager. DK Bager says, you know what? Let's just land the plane. A nice crispy 25. Somebody always likes to ruin it, and we don't get to keep it nice and even. We'll see who claims that one. Goes to Archer's Fury. Lono throws around bad words. Yeah, I don't. What were we talking about? Did you get Mike $10 to get VIP yet? No, I have not given Mike $10 to become a VIP yet. No. Those were 80 Iron Maiden fans. Yeah, they went back and watched it, you know? How can I view the second stream? I got to see this. I'll redirect you and give you a clip. Is this... you might not have been here before when we've done this. It's pretty typical that if we do a second stream or an upload, I will do a redirect. I'll also provide you with a link in chat. I'll make it really easy for you to come to the second show. So, Lords of the Fallen or Final Fantasy 16. I'll be honest with you, I bet I end up enjoying Lords of the Fallen more than Final Fantasy 16. Yo, Raptor and Rockin' Robin both a race to become the Agent of Chaos. Each of you gifting a member, rolling us over. That takes us to the next milestone. Go to 50 and I'll owe you more. Right now I owe you 5 gifted members. Thank you guys so much for that generosity and kindness. Raptor and Rockin' Robin. It's the battle of the R's, and you guys are always so generous. The coffee better be good, Loner, or you have to play Redfall for 3 days straight. Oh, did you order some coffee? If you ever order some coffee, let us know. ReforgeRoast.com. Thank you very much. That's hilarious. Stick around for the second show. It's going to be about Starfield. Is this Xbox's last chance? And I do have I have a coffee in here. Order from you, Richard. Excuse me. I see the order. Thank you so much, Richard. Ordered a bag of Frickmas and a bag of Light, taking advantage of that huge sale. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate that so much. Okay, it looks like it's connected now, so it'll probably just go through that thing now of approving the ability of the products or whatever. Rodrigo gifted a member. Thank you so much, Rodrigo, for taking us to 28 members on the day. It goes to Ossiferous King. Yeah, as far as game of the year, listen, I just want to make it really clear what I'm saying in today's stream. Catwalk gifts a member. We have a gifted member train going on right now. Get involved, jump in. I will yell extra loud for anybody who buys their own membership. Jump on this member train, hit join, throw that white badge in chat, and I'm gonna yell nice and loud for you. Everybody loves it when I yell, right? Don't you guys like it when I yell? I think that you do. I'm imagining that you do. Anyways, the thing is that I'm saying this is a game of the year contender, okay? That's what I think. I think it stands a chance to jump up on the podium. I don't actually think it has a chance of winning. You have to understand that for this studio, a Game of the Year nomination would be just huge for them. It would be huge. They want to be viewed as sort of like the second reference point for the, for Souls-like games. So I think that's key. If they get that nomination, that's going to be so big for them. Another gifted member taking us to 30 members on the day. Thank you, Mick D09. Yeah, it'll be like, thank you very much. If Starfield isn't game of the year, it has to be second or third, no matter what else comes out this year. It's too grand and trend changing. Only thing to hurt is that it's exclusive. What do you know what, Lucas McQueen? I want you to save that for the next show, because I want to know what you mean by that, but I don't want you to hijack this show. We still have, 20 minutes or so talking about Lords of the Fallen. They are winning the Super Bowl. They're not winning the Super Bowl, but they could make some noise in the playoffs. Pretty much is how I view it. I'm excited for the light roast since I'm not a diet I'm on a diet. We'll have to drink straight black now. Frickmas, I don't know. I'm not into berry notes. You won't taste. That's not how the green grape doesn't come through in that way. It really doesn't. I don't think this one is going to have, this is going to have to leapfrog over Team Ninja for the second spot. Oh, so you think Wolong's going to get a nomination? Did Wolong do that well? Wolong Metacritic. I mean, it's not definitive, right? It's not definitive. 81, 79, 79. No, I don't think so. I don't think it has to worry about Wolong. No. It could claim a spot all on its own. All it's got to do is score higher than that. Aaron with 2 months of membership. Will you be covering what Jim Ryan said about the PlayStation Showcase? Glad I found your channel. If we cover anything Jim Ryan said about the showcase, it'll probably be the Wednesday morning show. I'm not going to do more PlayStation Showcase streams than I can. We don't want to just be that. I don't want it to be that the only thing that I talk about all the way until it happens. We'll probably do one that morning in anticipation of the showcase, though. Oh, I understand what he's saying. He's saying Team Ninja's in the second spot for Souls likes. I just don't... See, I don't play him. So, I mean, the Souls guys would have to weigh in. I feel like Team Ninja's kind of in their own category because their games are so fast. Personally, I'm tired of the copy-paste Souls-like games. Wish it was trending. Copy-paste Elder Scrolls games instead. Yeah, Elder Scrolls games would be... Yeah, that's tall order. No, not this year. I just mean in general, Team Ninja has a solid Souls-like legacy. I understand what you're saying now. I struggle to disagree with you because when I think of Souls games, the reason I don't think of Team Ninja is because I've never played their games, which is obviously incredibly biased, right? I don't play their games, so they're kind of out of the frame for me. For the Souls fans, they're probably like, oh yeah, Team Ninja, right? These guys are saying, you know, the guys making Lords of the Fallen are like, you know, we want to be up there. We want to be considered, you know, second in line for Souls-like games. If you guys are having to refresh, I want you to know it's not me. I know sometimes if you're watching streams on YouTube, the assumption is this guy's internet's terrible. YouTube's having some kind of a problem today, so if you keep having to refresh or you're having buffering, there's nothing I can do to rectify it. I've done everything on my end to ensure that you have a very smooth viewing experience. I don't know what's going on. What are you streaming tonight? I'll be playing The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom with my wife tonight. I went and got 10 or 11 shrines so we can just fast travel to them, and we're just going to do a bunch of shrines tonight. It should be fun. It should be very, very fun. It's called a disability for a reason. If everything was accessible, nobody would really be disabled. That has got to be one of the weirdest sentences I've ever read in my entire life. I am really trying to understand what you're saying because it sounds like you're being incredibly unkind and arguably stupid. So let me get this straight. Are you arguing that we shouldn't be trying to make things accessible to disabled persons? Is that what you're arguing? I literally felt like somebody just hit me in the face with a stupid fish. It's like I feel like gross and like stunned at the same time. Would you ever consider doing playthroughs and posting them on YouTube? I'd watch the heck out of those. I'm not really known for my gameplay. I'm known for my talk shows and my commentary. Gameplay on YouTube is a dime a dozen. Anybody can play games and upload the content. What are your thoughts about Armored Core? Armored Core is... it took a long time. Maybe somebody brought it up earlier and I didn't see it. Armored Core is one of the main reasons that Lords of the Fallen might not be able to stay up on the podium. RP Gaming becomes a member. Thank you so much. If you guys want to get us to 50 members before the next stream, you can easily do it. Everybody hit the join button. Everybody hit the $ button. Guys, do me a favor. Help out the stream as much as you can. Only about 30 people hitting the like button would push us to 400, and it would certainly help us out. That tweet's going to do numbers because of the word Fox. I love it. Love it. My favorite. Well, he said what he said. I mean, I'm giving him a chance to qualify what he said. I don't anticipate getting much out of somebody who said something like that. I mean, he has a badge, so like I'm basically deciding on whether or not he can stay here. I don't want somebody with a badge saying things like that, unless he was saying like it's not on every single game to meet these disabilities. And that if you're arguing purely from imperative, but you know, I didn't want to feed him an easy out. I wanted him to clarify his position, which he hasn't. In an Armored Core game, get into a Game of the Year conversation. That seems like a pretty niche game. Oh no, I think Armored Core can 100% get a Game of the Year nomination. I can. I don't know if Wheezy's here today. I snapped at him yesterday. He might be taking the day off from me. But I actually think Armored Core could get a Game of the Year nomination 100%. I think FromSoft is in a really good category now. I think people look at them a lot differently than they used to. You know, we're allowed to take days off. No, not Yuzu Bear. Because I think Elden Ring just put them into a like, they were already in a very strong, well-known, respected category. I think they ratcheted up from there. They 100% ratcheted up from there, is what I think. So Armored Core is going to have a lot more attention and prestige. And Sekiro won Game of the Year when Souls was niche. It was more... back then, was it niche, though? Weren't they still selling really well back then? I don't even know if you... Would we say they were niche back there? You get uninvited? No. No. This ability can be almost anything. Like, I'm diabetic and can get a disability tag. Well, in the realm of video games, we're talking about, like, motor or vision or hearing impairments. Not necessarily, like, you know, glandular or dietary, like, problems, right? You know, if you have, like, a really bad, you know, thyroid or something, you might get tired, you know, really easily. Well, it doesn't mean they should make games really, you know, slow and plodding because you have a hard time keeping up without needing to take a nap, you know. I'm not trying to be unkind to people who have issues with their thyroid, but, like, think about that. Like, you wouldn't be able to argue that. That was exactly what I was saying. Most disabled people understand they have limitations, and they don't they don't want everything catered to them. They just want a fair shake. Okay, if that's what you were trying to say, then you can continue to hang out here, because you just didn't word it in a particularly good way, right? They want a fair shake. They want access. They don't want something to be made easier, right? Would you compare the impact of Elden Ring to Tears of the Kingdom a lot? Is there a game you think will have more of an impact 10 years from now between the two games? As far as which game will have more impact, it's really difficult because Elden Ring touches on a massive genre. Elden Ring touches on RPGs, and it also touches on open world, and it also touches on Souls. Like, Elden Ring's going to impact a lot of different types of games. Tears of the Kingdom, I believe, will impact gaming. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? Time check. I know. I scheduled for 12:15 so people can get the buzzer. Like, I believe that Tears of the Kingdom will impact gaming. I believe that Elden Ring will impact lots of genres. It's tough because, like, here's how I'll say it. And then I got to pull Mike in. We got to get set up for the next show. Here's how I'll say it. I'll say it like this. And try to give me 400 likes before we end this stream. Right now, the design genius and the freedom in Tears of the Kingdom is impacting the gaming world. Like, people are looking at what they're giving you as far as utility, freedom, creativity, open world, combat, all of that. That's going to impact the video game world. Elden Ring impacted the gaming world with respect to, like, unprecedented open world design, you know, easily one of the best, easily the most popular FromSoft game ever created. So that impacts the gaming world, but in a different way. Like, I think, like, people are going to look at Tears of the Kingdom. It's going to inspire and alter game development of future titles, future action adventure, future open world, future RPG, everything. It's gonna impact and touch on every single type of game that's out there at some level, I think. Like, you're gonna be playing a platformer in the future, or like a loot-based game, and they're gonna say, yeah, we were inspired by Tears of the Kingdom when we made this gun crafting table idea. Yeah, the fusibility in Tears of the Kingdom, yeah, that influenced this. We got that from them. Like, a first-person shooter, looter shooter with guns and crafting, I definitely could see even a game like that being like, oh, no, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom totally inspired this idea. Does that make sense? I feel that Tears of the Kingdom is going to impact the gaming world, game development as we know it. And I believe that Elden Ring impacted the gaming world, but not to quite the same degree, right? So, combat's garbage. I mean, that's subjective. I have my own quibbles with it, but calling it garbage is a little extreme. Little extreme. Okay. Let me pop this out and let me unmute. All right, you there, Mike?
Can you hear me?
I can. It seemed like you... Go ahead and say something again.
Can you hear me okay now?
I'm going to have to bump you. All right,
try to move my microphone a little bit. I have it a different way set up today, so...
I mean, I can bump you in OBS if need be.
All right, give me a second.
Ah.
All right. Is that better?
Give me a sentence.
Hey, guys. What's going on? Story and Still Gaming here, joining Lono.
Perfect. Okay, guys. I will continue to honor the member thing, right? I'll continue to honor it. Right now, I owe you 5. I'll do those in the next stream. If you guys hit 50, I'll owe you more. We'll probably do that at the end. We'll do that at the end. Oh, I've got Mike absolutely huge in the frame. Let me fix that. Okay.
Man, my head's big on your screen.
Yeah, I had you way too large.
Sorry, chat.
Am I still
off my head?
Am I still not 60 FPS? I don't know what my... Hang on, let me do something with my camera. Yeah. Still not right. Yeah, I can see the problem. I don't know what the problem is though. I've not changed anything.
Do you use a software? Like, do you have a software? Do you have software running on the background for your camera or anything?
No, I don't understand. This happened with my other camera for a while, and I could never figure out what the problem was.
Because I know sometimes I'm only using a web camera. I know you're using an actual camera. Sometimes because it goes through whatever Elgato stuff, if it might change, not Elgato, Logitech, it changes it sometimes in the software itself.
Yeah, I can't figure out what happened. Even if I tell it to match output, it's like it's not getting a 60 FPS signal, I guess. I don't know.
Is your camera plugged into the outlet?
Yeah. Yeah, they're both set up exactly the same way.
Is it overheated?
I don't think so. They're both it's the same camera. It's Elgato whatever it's called, the Cam Link. They both have the same outlet, everything. They're both plugged. I don't know. I don't get it. I'm going to try turning the camera off and on just really quickly. And then we're going to start. We're going to start no matter what. I don't want to meddle with this more than just right now.
The technical issues of streaming. Every single person chat across any platform has these little issues, and they bug the crap out of us. It's all good, Taco. Yeah, doing good. I got my family coming to visit. They're driving up right now. Last week was my birthday. Last Friday was my birthday, and it was a busy weekend. So now everyone's coming up this weekend, and we're celebrating Mother's Day, my birthday, my dad's birthday, all in the same weekend.
All right. The old turn it off, turn it back on again trick.
Is it plugged in?
I had it on an aperture mode instead of auto. Maybe that was it. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. Well, the Lords of the Fallen stream went really well, guys. Thanks for supporting it. We're going to discuss Starfield now. Is it Xbox's last chance? IGN, good night. I wanted to talk about Zelda, but Mike doesn't play it. He doesn't like it. So I was like, that wouldn't be a very good stream.
I can tell you a quick story real fast before you switch the thing. The reason I don't like it, you got to remember, I'm a stay-at-home dad, right? How much does your wife play video games when she's taking care of the kid? Right?
Very little.
Right. So when Breath of the Wild came out, I love Zelda. I love Zelda. I was like, oh, I'm getting this. I got a Switch, got the thing. But my kid at the time, what, it came out in 2016, 2017, right? No, 2018. So he was 4 years old, right? And I had very little time to play, and I was exhausted. So when I played Breath of the Wild, the music was so calm, and so like I was bored. I never finished the game. I kept falling asleep. I was just like, this is boring. I can't do it. And I never, ever completed the game. I love the puzzles. I love the stuff. I just couldn't do it. In that time of my life, I was like, yeah, I'm not playing it. I'm not going to buy the second one because I just had a bad experience with the first one.
Oh, it's such a shame because my opinion is it's probably, it's one of the best Zeldas ever made. This one included.
I bet it is. And then on top of that, it's so big. It's so massive. I don't have the time for it.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm feeling that pain right now. Like, how on earth am I ever going to finish this? Okay. Holy delay. Holy delay. What?
Okay. Yeah, it's nothing against Zelda itself. Look, everyone can have their what they like and what they don't like. I've played every single Zelda. I was bored out of my mind the last one, and it might be just because of the situation I was in.
There is no delay. Okay, I was wondering. I was like, what are you talking about?
The Zelda stream would have been like, are you playing Zelda? No. All right, well, that's a great stream. Thanks for tuning in.
Well, I wanted to discuss performance criticisms. Is it just a DLC, the weapon system, ultra hand, the insanity, all the clips, right? And then have like a debate about game of the year, like its sales are surpassing, it's surpassing Hogwarts.
Oh yeah, well, if at the end of this or after VIP, if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna link the stream, guys. Give me 1 second. Wait, did I use the wrong thumbnail again? Why does it say Fox Xbox?
Yeah, Richard, did you actually hear the rest of the stuff I was saying? Why I was bored out of my mind?
Yeah, I understood. I understood where you were coming from because I definitely think games that are this big and this slow, it's always going to be hard to play if your life situation is just making it impossible. So, all right, let's get going here, chat. Chat, I want you to bring it. I want you to bring the members, bring the love, bring the likes. When we get over in this new stream, I need you to smash the dickens out of the like button. Because sometimes on these channels, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, sometimes on these streams, we have to like beg for likes in the second stream. We don't want to do that. Let us run this channel like it's a Microsoft Studio, 30 FPS and buggy. Hey, we're not even late. We're not even late. I have the Starfield stream scheduled for 12:15. We've got 2 minutes.
That's actually pretty good.
I fixed my camera. How many FPS is in Redfall? I fixed my camera faster than Redfall gave you that. I will fight you. Mine didn't even require a little sticker on the box either. It's stupid. I will cut you. All right. We're not even late, says the man. It started at what time this morning? I swear to frig. I'm just gonna go upstairs. I'm gonna go play Zelda. I'm gonna go play Zelda. I'm gonna start the stream and y'all can hang out with Mike. I'm gonna go play Zelda.
Sorry, guys. We're gonna play Breath of the Wild, and you're gonna watch me nap.
It would be so confusing. People would see the Starfield thumbnail and be like, "What in the heck is this?"
They come back and be like,
it's you asleep in the frame that we've built, and they're like, "I don't understand what this is. I don't get it." There's more people here playing than playing Redfall. Oh my gosh, that's true. That's true. Okay, I'm gonna put a link in chat, and then I'm also gonna redirect you guys. And again, make sure when we get over in the new stream, just go crazy on that like button, man. There's like 400 of you. Okay? Head over to the new stream. Don't forget, you can upgrade to VIP. When this is all over with, we're doing the end of the week unfiltered VIP stream, and then Creature will have a thumbnail for me. We'll schedule it, all right? You can click the link in chat, head to the new stream, or you can just ride the redirect. All right, here we go. Thanks so much for checking out another weekly segment where I sit down and debate and discuss with the live chat and my good friend 30 and Still Gaming. Is Starfield Xbox's last chance? I don't think that it is, but let's discuss it. Many people saying that they see this as their last chance to win people back, to win morale. IGN put out an article. We're going to be kind of discussing exactly what went down and what everybody was saying, because people were not happy. And thanks for being here, 30. We're going to break this one down. It should be a good time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Guys, always make sure to check out 30 and Still Gaming. He's linked below. I'm going to end the previous stream. If you missed it, we discussed the Lords of the Fallen gameplay trailer and why I think that game could be gunning for a Game of the